Thing number two that I want to talk about are assumptions. And what I mean by assumptions are any tool you use, right, is going to assume certain things and not assume other things. And the downside of when a tool assumes something is maybe it's wrong and you actually want to do something else. The upside of a tool assuming something is that you can skip a lot of steps and get right to what you want. So a spreadsheet assumes very little. It's like a word processor or other kind of general tools where you can do just about anything with it. You can make an application or a synthesizer out of a spreadsheet because you can do almost anything in it. The problem is because you can do almost anything in it, you have to explain how to do very basic stuff, very seemingly obvious stuff to a spreadsheet. That's where people get stuck. And so I think with the different set of assumptions, you could avoid some of those problems. What are those problems? Well, let's look at this example here, right? Back to our world of simple revenue models. Let's say we have this total pile of revenue, and at our company, it's actually divvied up into two regions, okay? And we want to have a certain amount of this here and a certain amount of this here. Now, we talked about in the first video, there's a lot of ways to calculate this, relatively simple thing, but let's do a different one than we did last time. Let's do a percentage of the total in these fields. So we say, okay, equals this times 30%. And then in our head, we will do this equals total times 70%. Okay, cool. And now when we change this big number here, the numbers will flex proportionately. Okay, that's cool. Oops, I forgot. There's a third office in Asia Pacific, and they do 120,000. Okay, great. This is already broken because this new thing I wanted to make is just text. It's not actually associated with my total revenue number because that's not how I set it up. So now I got to think, how do I want to do this? Let's see. I could clear up some percentages and say, what's the rough percentage I want? Well, let's change this one to 6, and then that leaves one left. So now I can say, you can see how novice people are just like, I'm out, I'm not doing this. This times 0.1, and now I'm doing math in my head to see if I did that right. Well, I know what I'll do. I'll make a check. I'll say, you know what? This should just equal, spreadsheet people are already laughing because they know what's gonna happen. This plus this plus this. I'll close the circle. Spreadsheets. Can't do that, right? Okay, fine. What I have to do instead is make the old check column where I say this plus this plus this. And then I have to look at it and say, okay, good. People do this every day. Are there other ways to do this? Probably. Non-sophisticated users like myself struggle through this stuff all the time. You have a bunch of checks in your spreadsheet. Okay, other way to think about this. $10 million. I'm going to break it up into piles. These piles will have proportions to them. Let's make a pile. Let's say US Rev. Okay, sure. If I make one pile into one subpile, it's the same amount. Second pile, URev. Second pile, bam. Okay, cool. Now I can, do the same thing I was doing before. Nice, great. Can make this one go up. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, great. Oh, APAC, third group. What do I do? What do I re-architect? Nothing. It's just the third thing, right? I make that assumption as an application. And because I make that assumption, yeah, maybe I don't let you do every possible thing you do in a spreadsheet, but this is so much faster. This is easy, and you can't really break it. I don't have a check column here because this is always going to add up to this. That's just how it works. This is the upside and, the downside of different amounts of assumptions. What I want to build is something that takes really, really common assumptions for a lot of basic spreadsheet work and just bakes them into how the application works rather than saying, oh, you can do that in a spreadsheet. here's, Google how to do it, and then you're reading about formulas and functions and all that stuff. So if you make a different set of assumptions, then certain stuff can become really, really easy for really common uses.